All right. Are we now streaming?
Trying
Good.
to switch over to YouTube for our feed today.
Okay.
We've just on YouTube so much. All right, I think we're live.
All right. Are we now streaming?
Trying
Good.
to switch over to YouTube for our feed today.
Is that what I?
We've just on YouTube so much. All right, I think we're live.
Was my own feed just then?
What?
Do I sound like that? Gross. Okay.
I asked myself the same thing.
Well, if we are streaming now,
We should. I think we're streaming. Are we
Okay.
streaming?
I think we should start off with the
Oh my God. Yes.
weekly question. What are you doing this weekend?
Thing I've been doing all week.
Cool.
I got obsessed with a new video game. It's called Genshin Impact.
Of
It's really
course.
good. What do you
Wow.
mean, of course? What's that supposed to mean, Kyler?
Mhm.
It's an open world RPG anime game, so it's really good.
Sasha, are you going to be at the... You're not? What?
I like how nobody's talking as soon as we went live.
Yeah. That's real
Normally
fun.
that happens when you do anything with the camera. As soon as you turn the camera on.
Always cat talking.
Yeah. It's my the complaint about like the some of those. I like to complain about things. That's what I do.
This is...
You know, it's like the post you always like, oh, I should have had the camera on for that. Like
I also wish it was more of a podcast, but no one talks, so it's kind of awkward. But can't like force people to talk. So
I will force people to talk.
you're one of the people who doesn't talk, Sasha.
All right, Lily, start talking. Say something.
I can't hear y'all very well.
Okay,
My
she said
internet
something.
is
Bear.
so bad.
Cat point
I'm
proven.
making most of this conversation.
Need
I
to get better
cannot
ears.
hear y'all like at all.
Cat point proven.
Okay, you spoke. What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? Nothing.
Oh, that'll be fun. I feel like that's when you know you're not a kid anymore. So when somebody says, "What are you doing?" or "What did you do this weekend?" and you say nothing, and it's like exciting. Like, oh, I did nothing. It's a good time.
Oh, I hope my permit comes in the mail.
Oh yeah, you're driving. We were talking about cars before we went on the air, and we were all before we even started the discussion. I was talking about the cars and driving two different cars, like the SUV versus the station wagon.
Versus something like Cat's car. The Subaru is something like Cat's car, but bigger.
My car's nice. Stella is a very lovely lady. She's mean sometimes, but does your car have any quirks, Sasha?
I don't have a car yet.
Well, but the ones you're driving.
None of our cars have any quirks because we keep them in very good shape.
Quirks?
Can't say the same.
It's always a quirk. It's always like a list going. Like when it goes to the shop, it's gonna fix this, this, and this. And then,
The thing is, my uncle on like all sides of the family are like car people and like repairmen. Like they literally like own a car shop and they can't fix it. So
oh, what is is it like simple? What is the problem do to your car? Like when you're driving, what is the bad thing?
sometimes it'll just lock me in, or other doors will get locked.
What's
Like,
the Stephen King car?
Like it's like the knob next to the window, and you can just pull it, and then it unlock, and that's fine. But like it won't.
Not today. Not today. It did it yesterday. Not today.
I'll unlock my car sometimes and I'll get in and then I'll close the door. And then when I try to get out, it's locked. And I didn't lock it. And I know that. And I don't think
Are you sure, Kat?
do that.
Cars
Are you
got-
sure?
That's a hazard.
Yeah.
That is a big
Not
hazard.
fun.
Yeah, what I would do in my opinion, for your auto locking car, which never heard of, I
Nobody's
would.
good for locking
I
you
would
in. It's not me.
First of all, your car is a electronic car because it's made. What year was your car made?
2009.
Okay, so I would get your electronics checked first. Then, if it's not the electronics, change the locks on the car.
It's like it's always the electronics.
Which is funny you say that because another issue is when I try to unlock it, it will lock every door except mine, which is the door I need to drive the car. But all the other ones will unlock. And I think that bugs me the most. Because then I have to like find the key and like physically unlock it. But I don't know. And when it rains and I turn left, it leaks water out of the AC. Or not the AC, the airbag.
Okay, get that checked also.
Yeah. I don't know how. I've
A
tried.
water bag at that point.
It really is.
A free water balloon. If you hate anybody, Kat, that day, just cut your airbag open, get a water, just get a balloon and then throw it at someone.
Yes. Absolutely. Did you ever have a quirky car, Doug?
I've had so many quirky cars. You know, even the one I have now, I had to make quirky because that's
Wait,
what
which one? Which one, Doug?
my BMW. Yeah,
The red one, right?
it's all numbers. Yeah, it's like it's an F80
That's normal for BMW though, Doug.
competition. Yeah, it's like the racy one is stick shift, and I was like, well, it's got all this computer because again, it's computer driven. So I'm always about customizing. So like we can tune it and mod it, you know. So like I get more powerful. We can just like by plugging in a computer to the car, we can like bump the horsepower, like make it faster, 90 horsepower. Let's go. But the repercussions of that are like there could be some problems. But I was like, it'll be okay. And then you're driving, and then the car shuts down because you're like, well, what could be the worst thing the car would do if it didn't like it? We could stop.
Doug,
Stop. Well, I'm like, when you're doing a high rate of speed, that could be problematic.
Yeah.
Doug,
Yeah.
have you ever had any problems with any of your electronics in the car? Because BMW is predominantly 90% of the car is ran by the electronics in the car, because that's what BMW does.
That's the downfall with the car. There was like through the 2000s. So BMW goes through eras of cars, and through the 2000s they had a V10 engine, which was like their best engine. It was like their Formula One engine, and they put it in a sedan, in a 4-door sedan. They call it the M5, and it was the E60. It was like the best of the 2000 era of the M5s, and it was like this massive, big engine. And the car was amazing, but it just was sensor failure after sensor failure to the point at which you love the car so much, but you can't keep it because it's in the shop, and you're just like, you can't keep up with the sensors. You're just like, it's problematic to the point of the car. It's the car that you want to love, but you can't drive. You just have to kind of look at it, you know? And
That's why I'm going to pronounce it by a predominantly electronic car.
Yeah. And it was like it was their Formula One engine. So again, it was the V10 era, and it would in the race car, it would go like 22,000 RPMs, which is great. Motorcycles rev at like 16 to 20,000 RPMs. That's why they like, that's why they have that sound, right? Because that's the engine. So again, this Formula One at 22,000 RPMs is so when they put it in the street car, they're like, we'll just make 9,000 RPMs. Which was still like for a street car, you know, like a sedan. You're like, it's a V10 and it's revving at 9,000 RPMs. So it was an amazing, amazing car. And they did so much with it, but then they couldn't.
Wait, Doug, do you guys still have the Tesla?
Andy has her car. Yeah, Andy
How's
has
that thing doing?
We sit side by side in the garage because hers is like the future, and mine's like this gas powered, you know, stick shift, you know, unstable rocking thing, and hers is like this sleek. Yeah, it's the future and the past. You know, that's cars. Isn't it the futures? Have
Yeah.
you driven an
No
electric
way.
car yet?
Hmm?
You driven one?
What? A
Electric,
Tesla?
anything electric.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, at some points, the hybrid does turn into an EV vehicle, so sort of.
Kind of feel. It's just a different feel on the gas. Kat, have you been anything electric at all?
My car,
But as far as they
No,
make
fully.
100% electric.
Yeah.
Fiat makes some, and there's like a bunch of smaller, other than the Tesla. Yeah, there's
I don't think so. I've driven a
That's what I'm
V8 engine, so that's cool.
different feel.
Yeah, the V8 engines are insane.
Yeah, right. It's that movement of mass. It's very physics, right? Mass and how much energy it takes to move that, and it's that that crossover into that electric mode, which gives you that different kind of feel, right? That torquey, quickness, I guess, that the gas has to rev up.
Yeah, so electric cars, that's why they're more responsive in like races, is because the gas doesn't have to be converted and then everything happens in a gas car. It takes longer than a electric car, which already has energy. It's just stored energy, and then when it's needed, it's then applied, and then boom. It's basically pre-made energy storage is what electric car is.
Mom's is electric. Hers is a Prius, so it's mostly electric.
Yeah.
But there are times when she'll like literally completely run out of gas and it just keeps going anyways because
Yep,
it's electric.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah, it's
It
crazy.
can go both.
Same, yeah, right. Same system.
Mhm.
That's cool.
But also the fact that the hybrids can recharge themselves. I mean, Tesla, come on, at least implement a self-recharging mode so that way people don't have to buy your expensive freaking charging stands and your cables and everything.
So there was. Do you remember the Fisker car company?
Who?
Fisker, yeah, obviously not memorable. Fisker came out about the same time Tesla did, and Fisker had a solar panel on the roof, and the idea being that you could charge in the parking lot, as the car sat there in the day. And I thought that tech might have made its way onto Tesla, and I've kind of, as you read stuff online, I've read that might be a tech evolution for them. But that'd be a cool idea to have the solar panel on the top to charge the car.
Yep, that's what I had. I had an idea to make a car with that, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen a bunch like that, or like where the whole thing is solar panel, just the whole top of it. And I like that, but
Oh, there's a design coming out for a new car company where literally the whole car is made out of a solar panel. But it's colored. It's a colored solar panel. So it can be any color you want. It can.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're like LED lights. You change the color. Really?
Then there's a aircraft manufacturer that's going to be doing a all-electric plane, but the wings, they're still going to be normal wings, but underneath them there's going to be solar panels. So there are solar panels there, you just won't be able to see them.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this is very much a transition time from the gas kind of powered combustible things to this. So I feel like the batteries and that we got that covered now. So it's kind of fun to watch. Yeah.
Even like if you go into a Buc-ee's now, they have the Tesla charging stations. Like that's crazy to me. It's like the most Texan. It's literally a gas station.
A famous gas station.
Yeah, and
Well, that's been the thing is to try to make that faster, to make that process as quick as we can in that recharging, right? It seems like they got that down now, like to really short times. Welcome back.
Hopefully I can hear y'all this time. It keeps like I can hear like certain words, but I can't hear sentences because it glitches in between the words. And so y'all were talking about politics, and then I cut out for a long time, and then y'all were talking about cars, and I was confused.
yeah, that's a weird transition.
That's just how it sounds like to me normally, though.
Conversations in life or Zoom.
Fair.
Cars are fascinating. If they're on your radar, they're on your radar, right? Like,
Yeah.
I like the aesthetic package the car brings. Other than the fact it moves you, there's a whole sense of freedom I feel within the car we can talk about as well. But the aesthetic package too of the visual that they turn your head, and they talk about cars to turn your head or catch your eye, and that's always been my love for cars is that there's amazing, it moves too, it can go fast, but look how pretty it is.
Doug,
They forget it, don't they? Fast and pretty.
speaking of fast, there's a car that's able to break the sound barrier.
Oh man! All right.
It can go here.
Like
No,
a
no, it's
supersonic
not.
jet, kind of.
Yeah, it's basically it has a twin jet fan thingy bobber. I forgot how to say my terminology correctly here.
Why is that necessary? Who needs that?
It is. You
What
can't
is
use
that
that on the
for?
road.
Scientists are too concerned with whether they could that they forget whether if they should.
It wasn't Bob Lazar the guy that put the rocket on the back of his bicycle?
The SSC.
Bicycle?
It can
Something
go.
crazy, like a motorcycle, like a little moped motorcycle. It was some kind of crazy tech.
It can go 1.2 million kilometers an hour, which is about 786 miles an hour.
786.
Why would anyone need to go that fast?
So how long is this road you're driving on without like obstacles?
They did it in the middle of a flat desert.
Yeah, okay.
The Bonneville Salt
I think
Flat.
that should not be sold to normal people or put on any form of highway.
Watch it be implemented one day, Kat. You're like, why?
That's asking to get in a car wreck. Like, whew, going 70 is difficult for some people. Like, can't imagine 700. That's crazy. What do you guys think about like other technology advances like that though?
I think someday it might be used in a way, but for now, I just don't think it's necessary. So if you lived in Germany and you were on the Autobahn, you would have a blast with that thing, but you would kill so many people.
Yeah. Reaction time and speed, right? You need autonomous, you need some tech to get in the way there to help.
Speaking of tech though, has everyone looked at the new iPhone?
iPhone 12, yeah. That's a waste of money, God.
So what else do you think about it?
It literally, if you think about it, the body is literally the body of the 4 or the 3G.
I think it's the 5S.
No, they went back in time on the style of the phone.
That was their whole branding point
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, they went back to squaring it.
Yes. We've been rounded for a while, right? So now we're back to square.
It's
That's-
not like super square though. It's
Have you seen the edges, Cat?
oh, I thought you meant like looking from the front. You mean the
Just
side?
like the end, like that.
I'm
round.
talking about the body.
Yeah.
The body.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty square.
Interesting.
Yes, it literally looks like an iPhone 5.
But what's wrong with iPhone 5? That was like one of the most like when it happened, I don't remember which update it was. I think it was 8.
Actually, if you think about it, this is only $919 instead of over $1,000, and people were complaining about it being over $1,000. So
The 12 is a lot cheaper than a lot of the other models that they've made for like a starting price.
yeah,
So I think that's kind of
and
interesting.
it also the 12 has the same specs as the 11 does. It has the same chip. It has same cameras, same almost everything is similar.
Cameras are different.
Yes, that.
How much did the first one cost? Do we know the first price of the first iPhone?
1,200 or something.
Wow.
Of what, the very first iPhone?
Yeah, I was just like, that's way far back. Yeah, iPhone 1.
That one was way cheaper.
I feel like they've gone up ever since, but I was like, what was the first one? How did they get that off the ground? Yeah. History.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think the first iPhone was really expensive
The
for phones
first
at the time.
generation iPhone was $500 for 4 GB, which was a lot
500.
back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, for phones it was because
Wow. Yeah.
they couldn't do all this other stuff, all this stuff that iPhones could, so they were like way cheaper.
$500. And the new, and then the 12. You said just under 1,000.
Yeah, it's 918.
Well, that's for the biggest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay. All right.
800 total for like just the iPhone 12. I think it's like $799.
And also, we're still in pre-order phase, so
That's for the Pro.
yeah, it might just not even end up being a thing. Apple might just take it off the market. You may never know.
The
You may
phone?
never know with the product.
The phone they just released.
Yeah, if it doesn't sell out, because people these days, they think highly of Apple, and this is going back to the 5 era on body style.
It's like their branding point.
Yeah.
It's literally like their whole website is like a blast to the past.
Yes,
Okay.
I know, but what I'm saying is that some people might not like that, so they might not get as much sales, which would then. I'm looking at it from a business side,
Yes. All right.
and Lily's like,
Well, I just don't think that they'd just take it off completely because that's a waste of millions of dollars in advertising that they just would never get back if they took it off the market immediately, if it didn't sell the first week. That just doesn't make sense to me.
And they've also been working on it for like 2 years or something.
yeah,
They've had to adapt. I remember they had one of their models. It may have been the 3 or the 4 that had by you putting your hand on the phone, you were blocking the antenna, and they didn't anticipate that, and so they had to give everybody a free case. It was a rubber case that was designed so that you weren't grounding the phone. Basically, you were causing it to ground.
I think
And
that
that
was
was
4.
It was the 4. Okay, so they've had a past of having a glitch in a product and being like, well, okay, well, yeah, we have to do something to make the consumers happy because this product we didn't anticipate this in rollout. Like again, like when you started using it, and it was just through, I guess, through social media steam, right? That people start complaining about this phone glitch. Is anybody else having this happen when I hold the phone?
And all of the big major companies have had problems, like Samsung.
That was where I was leading to. Yeah,
blowing up at 30,000 feet in the air. They had a ginormous recall on all their phones.
Their phones would just blow up in general, though. That was like 2016.
Yeah, but
was that it? Was that done? Were you done with Samsung at that moment?
Me?
yeah, I was like, screw them.
I feel like it didn't seem like that big of a deal because like you've seen people like drop their phone and the battery falls out, and that's kind of what I thought it meant.
No.
But then you see like pictures from the hospital with people
Boom.
like 3rd-degree burns on their face because their phone just randomly blew up. Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, when you were young, did your parents ever tell you like, no, don't use your phone while you're charging it because it could blow up or something like that? Like,
Nope.
I don't feel like I've heard that about my phone, but I've heard that about other stuff.
Yep. I feel like that was an issue on some devices. We did have that and I feel like it's still, if you notice your device when you have it charging, it's hot, right? That's definitely making heat. And if you're using it with your screen on, I could see,
Well, what Apple tries to do with their technology is to prevent what happened to Samsung with their chips. The chips are the sensor data point of the whole phone. They have to program all this stuff to make sure that it doesn't do what Samsung did. Otherwise, there would be a lot of money lost and a humongous recall on all their phones, which Apple
can't do.
That would just ruin their reputation if that happened.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you that awful question. If your phone blew up, would you go get another one?
I would honestly just throw it in my pool and just go to the other manufacturer.
It is funny though to think about because like as an Apple user, sometimes you question like, why am I using Apple? Because we all do. But
Good perspective. Question.
you think like, what else would you use, you know?
Yeah.
And you try to think about that. And
Yeah.
like the iOS system is so much better than Samsung's programming, and a lot of people don't like
Realize that.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, if you think about it, all these like third-party things that Apple's getting to with, like, let's say the Apple Card, their own credit card that's added onto the Apple ecosystem. People are like, this is not necessary. I'm like, but if you're already trapped inside of the ecosystem and you already have all these Apple products and a card that's like one of the safest cards in the world because it has nothing on the titanium card at all. It's all digital.
Just the chip.
And it's saved on your phone, except for the chip.
Oh, it's tough, man. It's one powerful company, isn't it? Then
It's like, who's ever done that before? There's all this privacy, and there's no fees at all for the card. No fees at all whatsoever. No late payment fees other than the stuff that they have to charge for that. But if you have a credit card, you shouldn't be paying late anyway. But if you have to, it's understandable. But it's like
Interesting.
yeah.
useful. Then Apple started getting into watches, and everyone thought that was a bad idea. But then it became one of the biggest products that Apple's ever released.
They did have to. It wasn't recalling the product, but they had to recall some ads because they were advertising that they could read your blood oxygen level, and like, it's not the FDA, but there was some organization was like, you can't do that because you're lying, because no one can do that from just your wrist. We're not in Star Trek yet, so. But I thought that was interesting because that was like one of their biggest things they were trying to go on.
Yeah.
And then like a week after.
There's a whole thing on this, and I have the Apple Watch, and there's a whole thing on this oxygen sensor, and it goes into you have to get off even Google, you're going into deep web to do research on the Apple Watch conspiracy, that the Apple generation watch number 3, I think,
Yeah.
or maybe even 2, had the ability to do this.
Really?
It's started off.
Their basic measurements. Yeah, when somebody broke the tech down, like if you take an iPhone, if you take the iWatch and break it down in 2015, the sensor is essentially the same. It's the same blood oxygen monitoring system. It's very simple technology. It's been around since I think the 70s on the finger, and it goes back to the ear. I think the Japanese invented ear tech in the early 1900s, 1910 or something. I delved deep into this because I was like, is this a conspiracy of colors? Because they show us these red sensors that can detect through the skin.
Yeah.
Apparently Samsung's camera could do this on like their phone generation 4 or 5. It's not very complicated. It's the color of your blood. It's what it's called. I call it the color of money, but you can call it the color of your blood. Clean blood is what color? Clean blood is on a spectrum of light versus dirty blood. Dirty blood is purple. I had my blood taken, and I asked the phlebotomist. I was like, "What's the weirdest thing you've seen?" He's like, "I've seen some dark blood, like black, the darkest blood, purple blood." And I'm like, "From a sick person?" "Yeah, I think a sick person." Okay, so the color of your blood. So what the Apple Watch is doing is just taking pictures of your blood color, whether it's purple or red, and detecting that and measuring that.
Then it's analyzing everything, and then it tells you like that.
Yeah. But could it have done it in 2015? And could it have done it accurately? We're not sure. Is the new sensor better than the old sensor? We're not sure. Is the software? Surely Apple would not make this just a software thing. We have to get the new watch to get this. The old watch doesn't do this. So I get conspiracy deep in Apple.
I think most people what they don't realize about Apple is that there's a reason to almost, I'm going to say everything, almost to everything that Apple releases. There's a reason behind it.
Money.
Well, other than money. Sometimes it's other than money, actually, because it's cool.
Oh no, I mean that's the businesses are in business. Mark Cuban, I love him. He would tell you why is the business a business?
Like they're still working on the Apple car.
Yes, I heard that popped up on my radar recently. I was like, that's Project Titan. It's supposed to end 2020. I think
Yep.
it's what popped up on radar. They've been
Yep.
working on the car for 8 years.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Conspiracy.
They
Yeah.
started working on a car before they started working on a watch. Like, would Steve Jobs have been alive 8 years ago? It's been over.
Yeah, when did he 2010?
Around that, I think.
He could have worked on that project himself, only to have it released just now is crazy.
No. But if you think about it though, the Apple Car, it could. All you would need probably, you could probably have your car key on your phone. You probably wouldn't even need to have a physical key.
My God. Like,
It would
this is
just be all,
car, and you
your
just go,
phone, your Apple ID would be your key to get to the car running and get into it.
oh, if it did like a facial scan.
Oh, it's going to do all that and more.
Yeah.
So it'll be come in rose gold. It'll come in titanium silver. That'll be the color palette.
Rose pink.
And the edges will be square, and you'll be like, well, the version 2 was rounded. Now you're quite true though. I feel it is an evolution of technology. The car manufacturers that were making gas-powered cars made gas-powered cars with electronic technology attached, right? We saw that through companies that have Mitsubishi that have kind of gone by the wayside, kind of restructured, Hyundai, Kia combining, whatever. But yeah, so the evolution of electricity would be electric, right? Then it has to be your look coming from a company that you're big in electronics, and it could be Samsung could roll out a car. Would you?
As long as it doesn't blow up, I'm perfect.
Oh, knew that was coming.
I feel like I don't trust either of the brands with a car.
With the car.
That's
Okay.
like a whole
Wait,
other
yeah.
genre.
Interesting.
Hold on to that thought. But do you trust them with a credit card?
With your money. That's Virgin. It's the Virgin company.
But at the same time, if you have your cards linked up with your Apple ID, you're already trusting them with your credit card.
Exactly.
Yeah, Natasha. I guess
Just
I
saying.
trust them with my money. But my physical body.
Wait, no, imagine them putting Touch ID on the car.
I
see
wish a car would do that. That'd be so cool. Because isn't there like a Tesla app? or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, it's very much iPhone connected. But I was thinking Richard Branson is one of those other ones that have kind of crossed over into many different facets of this, of like saying, well, if you're comfortable with one part of my brand, Virgin being the company, Virgin Music, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Hotels, Virgin Cruises, whatever he can put his name on, he's like, maybe you'll be comfortable if I could take your money as well. Maybe if I could feed you. What other parts of your day would Apple be like to be part of? And what other companies are you comfortable with? If Google said, if we have a car, you Google all day, would you take a YouTube car?
That sounds
Hey, U car. That's the name of it. It's going to be called the U car.
That's fair though. That fits.
U car. Take me to Hollywood Boulevard.
Imagine.
While it's driving, it just offers you like movies and everything based off locations like YouTube descriptions about buildings. Like, would you like to know about Hollywood Boulevard? And this movie theater has been here since the 1950s.
It is the trust factor, Kat. You're saying, so you don't trust, you're saying they've never made a car before. I'd rather somebody that's made a car.
Yeah, I would pick Tesla over Apple for a car brand. Because cars are Tesla.
Wait, Kat, I have a question.
Okay.
So let's say Apple did release the Titan and everything, but you didn't want to buy it. Would you not trust them at all and just go against them? Or would you wait until people actually started doing like YouTube videos on it and it actually started getting good ratings? And then
Like if people are approving of it and not dying, then I'm interested. But you're like a tester, no. But I don't know. Like imagine if Ford made a phone. Like that's weird.
that'd be funny.
Yeah. But it's just like it's wrong, you know? Or like if I don't know.
Oh Jesus, not this. I just looked up something.
Like if Starbucks made like a pen brand, like if they started like making pens for like writing, that's weird. That's not what they do. Why should I trust them with that?
Trust.
Okay,
Tesla took some time to get trust too. Tesla's been in the market space for what? Making cars, 8 years? 10
so
years?
Apple
Been a while.
has been looking into this for a while. They're calling it the Apple plane, where they.
Yeah, I play.
It's not production yet. They're still on the drawing board of it, but it's a plane that basically flies itself and everything. And it uses Apple Maps for all of its GPS and everything. And it just, what do you guys think? Would you, I'm guessing you guys wouldn't trust Apple in the aviation industry either, would you?
Apparently Kanye West endorses it, so maybe I'll take a seat back.
Wait and see. Wait and see. I like the wait and see approach with many things in life. Let's see how this plays out, and then we'll follow up.
I'll let Kanye West sit
Die
in the
first.
plane, and then if he doesn't die, I'll think about it.
That's yeah, that's so true with the I was thinking about the autonomous, the automatic pilot. You hear stories even in the Tesla, right, of it like driving itself into things, and you're like, well, does that change your perspective on some of that space?
Yeah, I don't fully trust it yet at all.
But they're improving it.
All right.
Yes,
That's
I can-
man, okay.
that's something I think about a lot, I guess, because the thing about Tesla is you don't have to have it in a self-driving mode. You can just drive it yourself, and that's something I can trust. But like at the same time, someone can literally hack your car.
That's true. Yeah.
Like
The more connected we are. Yeah.
your
The challenges
car,
of that.
like someone can hijack your car, like and make it swerve off the road or something. I don't know. Like it's super unlikely, but it is possible, and that's weird to me. Don't like that.
Moving into the well, it's like security again. Like if you like Zoom, like
Yeah.
Zoom version 1, right? You could just drop into a Zoom conversation on other people, and we had all this craziness going on, and like, okay, we got to get better and tighten that up. So I think that's fair to say that there's going to be some issues, right? If you can envision that, then it's probably going to happen, then, right?
I feel like if I was a business person selling a product, I couldn't release it knowing it's gonna be like have issues like that. Like I feel like Samsung probably had a couple tests where the phone blew up before they made a million and sold them.
They've got weird history, even their recent history of that folding phone they tried to come back with, and everybody kept pulling off the screen, and it was like all the unboxings were like unrippings of like, and they feel like, yeah, they've really got some, they haven't done well in recent history at all of rollouts.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No. And so once, and this is the same thing. So is this, you're talking before we started our feed about the end of like YouTubers or the end of creative cycles of people. Like we love you till we hate you and then you're done. So is that what causes somebody in this creative space as well in YouTube, to fall? Is something like the blow up, or is it just this slowly disinterest of this taste that I've been eating these potato chips for days, I've been drinking this coffee, I'm done with it now, let me move on, whatever.
I feel like it depends on the person.
Yeah. See, I would feel like that if someone was an Apple sheep, and if you don't know what that is, that's basically someone who's only loyal to Apple, nothing else. They only have Apple products. They only love on Apple products. They don't hate them, or they try not to hate them. If they found out, if Apple did what Samsung did to one of their phones, and one of their phones blew up, Apple sheep, I would say they would defend them and also go against them. But since the Samsung thing happened, all the Apple basically ganged up on Samsung and just hated on Samsung for the battery thing.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
It's a good perspective.
It's a tough one to have, I guess, to like think like, am I biased to a certain brand or not? And it's kind of tough to recognize when you have that, but I feel like I am biased to Apple, but only because that's what I know, which is a really dumb reason. I won't lie.
Yeah.
But their security features are insane, and living in the world we are living in now, it's still almost not even a good enough security feature. Like, people still know everything about me, and that's crazy. And to think that Apple has one of the best securities scares me to think of getting anything less. So, yeah.
Well, also, if you think about it, Apple has been known to be one of the most secure in your pocket products in the world, and even in your hands or in your bag. They've been known for that, and it's like people are like, it's not worth the money. I'm like, if you really do think about it, you're getting actually a really good deal on what Apple has done for their products.
Like the fact that you don't get pop-ups on your phone, that sounds like it should be normal, but apparently that's not normal. And some people get like literal pop-ups, just not even like on a website, just on their phone.
On what, Samsung or?
Yeah, or just like Android, anything.
Android.
Like,
yeah, the open operating system versus the closed operating system. It's almost like two different kind of fundamental bases, right, of how they were designed.
And also, if you think about it, Apple with their UI and everything, I've tried Samsung before. At first, that thing's just hard to use. Apple, it's like it guides you through everything, and the home screen is simple. There's not all these buttons. There's only one button on the phone or one area of button that you would need to have on your phone. It's like with Samsung, they have a home button, then this little button off to the left of it, and then another button to go back. When you can already do that on iOS without even having to use a button in the first place.
I'm the complete opposite. I love my buttons. I love looking at all the widgets that you can have. For me, one of the reasons why I don't use Apple, and this is not like why I hate Apple, but it's just I don't like it. It's so sleek. Like the user interface is so minimal, and to a lot of people that's like good, right? Because it's all they need. But to me, I need to have a clusterfuck of things. Oh, sorry for cussing. I need to have clusters. It has to be messy. That's the only way my brain works.
Doug's like, well, anyway, there goes the monetization.
It's so true. Well, Apple hides all the code. Like you want to see the shortcut. You want to see where the code is. Where's the file stored? There's no file manager on the iOS. Yeah. So yeah, I could see that from somebody that wants to understand how this shit's working. You have that little icon that doesn't. Yeah, Apple hides all that because they were like, well, we were trying to keep it clean. We don't want to confuse people. Yeah. So yeah, I get you. It's almost. My problem is that I feel like Apple's become like my Spotify. That I don't love Spotify. I love my playlists that I made in Spotify.
Yeah.
And like that's the problem. I could switch to iTunes Music. I could go anywhere else for the song that AC/DC makes that I want to hear. It's just the damn playlist is embedded in Spotify at $9.95 a month, and I don't want to have to make another playlist. Is that Apple?
Yeah. But also, if you think about it, Apple is all about the users and how easy it is to use their products. That is Apple.
Yeah.
It's all about making it as simple as possible to understand for the consumer. That's Apple. That's why it takes only 3 clicks to apply for the Apple Card on your phone. instead of 15 pages of paperwork to do and then remailing it and then getting it back. And then you have to call them and get it approved. As soon as you sign up and you're approved within 1 minute, and then the card's ready to use, and then your physical card will be in the mail. And then there you go. There's your card. It's simple.
It's the joke of the Amazon one-click button, one-click buy. If there was 2 buttons, we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You've got to click.
It is scary though how easy it makes everything.
Well, that's I think V's perspective. But in dumbing down the interface, you dumb down the user. Is that a problem, V? Do you think?
I mean, like, okay, Windows, since the Windows 10 update, they also had this issue where they updated the user interface or the settings. And so like I can't do advanced settings or I could customize the screen to my personal usage. If you go into advanced settings on it, there's like 1 button. And I'm like, what is this? Because for me to function on technology, it has to be customized to how I can function, right? And to dumb it down, you can't customize it as much as you used to be able to. That's my problem.
That's perfect. That's like awesome screenshot. That advanced options is one thing.
It's not advanced.
I love it. Yeah.
But it's like I've told everyone this. When they say Apple is hard to use, I'm like, okay, now go buy a Samsung product and try to set all of that up and get everything done. And then come back and tell me that Apple is easy to use, and then we'll be friends.
Yeah.
I think
It's just what you're used to, maybe. Again, like the 2 cars that you've been driving, you're used to both, and they're familiar. First, maybe one wasn't. Then one you got more familiar with. First, the wipers were in a weird spot, and the button to turn the indicators on was in a different side, and the gas tank's on this side, and all those. It's just maybe it's brain autopilot that just makes some of those things more, again, simple. What we call simple, right?
Yeah.
Is that time?
No.
yeah, it's 1:35.
Yeah. I would love to rant on more about Apple, but
that's how big they are in our life.
the Apple Pencil, the Apple glasses that are coming out soon, I hope that they're doing. Apple's getting to everything. The Apple Cruise, I can see it now. The Apple Cruise on a custom-made Apple chip.
The one Apple product I am willing to get is the Apple iPad Pro, mainly because you can draw on it, and that's all I want.
That's also why schools love iPads. It's because they're universal to everyone. Everyone knows how to use them. They're simple to use instead of like these mini Windows computers.
It is interesting to watch a little kid pick up a phone and watch them click buttons. Yeah, it's intuitive. But again, like on a skill level, as a skill set, we mastered that very quickly. I like the customization. I love that delving deeper. And I feel like the new iOS has given a bit more of that.
Yeah. Oh, in fact, actually, install another beta update.
Wait, okay, I know it's over time, but like whenever you guys were in were any of you guys in a tech school whenever you're in elementary or primary school? Because what they did was they would delete the app store from the iPads just so you can't mess around.
I love those days. I would literally fill up 3 pages full of apps because I figured out the Apple ID password to the school account. So I just got all these free apps and I just put mine in, and then I signed out under someone else's name so that person would get in trouble for the apps. Oh, those were great days.
You madman.
Those were great days.
The iPad. It's a good time. Still a cool device, yeah.
Oh, and also the fact
on the phone.
The fact that the iPad, so many people have to lug around so much crap at the airport for their laptops. The iPad, all you really need is just a wireless keyboard. Flip it over, boom, you're done. And it's not even considered a computer. So it doesn't have to be taken out of the bag when you're at TSA. It can just stay in your bag and it will be scanned because it's not a computer. It's a tablet. It's considered a tablet, but it's at Apple, through the Apple economy, it's a miniature computer. It can do as much as a computer does.
It doesn't make that weird noise with the AC thing.
The fan?
Yeah. I don't know why I hate that on my laptop. Because like every once in a while I'll just go,
So that's so it doesn't blow up, right?
yeah, I completely understand that, but
Cool
it's
down. Cool down.
so loud. So loud.
All right.
All right.
Well, everybody enjoy the weekend.
I'll
Yes.
try to.
Yeah,
Farewell.
as long as the weather is good. I always like to complain about the weather. As long as the weather's good. Bye.